to stick to my fucking, you know what I'm saying? To my word. I told every single person that they can expect me to get on here and at least provide some education for the people that can't attend boot camps and can't do that stuff. I've been there. I've been broke. I understand. So the question is, okay, if you're broke and you can't come to boot camps, will you show up and sacrifice a Saturday, midday, to come and get the extra knowledge and make up for the difference? That's really, I guess, who's going to show who's serious and who's not. Because in the times where I wasn't making money, there really weren't that many resources I could pull to and just go and get myself right with the mindset aspect, the technicals, ask questions, fundamentals, and everything in between. Let's see how this goes. I really don't even have a topic in mind. I want to cover the trades from last week. To be honest, I don't even want to cover that. What do you guys want to talk about today? The only things I had on the agenda was Forex news and to really kind of go through how that's been affecting the NAS markets. But is there something specific you guys want to cover? If you guys are showing up for your first ever Saturday webinar, good morning or afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Roy Dunya. I'm the co-founder of Chart Addicts. I'm a full-time trader located here in Miami, Florida, for now. The point of this webinar is to introduce you all to NAS100, which is a composite index that we trade here using margin. And I want to show you how we're making money trading the NAS100, how I've been able to make over 6 figures trading prop firms, and some of the simple strategies that everyone can use to start making money trading. Now, I understand that from a distance, trading is very intimidating for a lot of people. If you guys have not seen success yet, it probably seems like an impossible task. It seems like it's so far away. In reality, the difference between winning and losing in trading are just very, very small changes. And these are the changes I had to accept, and I had to really work on and undo a lot of the bad habits I had before I started seeing success. So I guess we could just talk about, in general right now, how to make money trading and the difference between winners and losers. Because when you see somebody making 6 figures out of prop firms and you're still at the point where you haven't had your first withdrawal, it can start to get to a demoralizing point. You start to second guess whether this is for you or not. So I was actually listening to something earlier, and this person described 4 stages of when you get introduced to a skill set. And so first, there's uninformed optimism. Number 2 is uninformed pessimism. Number 3 is informed pessimism. And then number 4 is informed optimism. And we're going to go through these here one by one. This is actually so relevant to trading that when I heard this, I started taking notes and I tried to relate it in my mind. Like, how often does this happen with traders? And when you realize what part of the journey that you're on, this is a timeline, by the way. The timeline goes like this: very excited, pit of despair, and then back to success. So are you in the beginning stages where everything is looking positive, you're optimistic about your chances to make money? Things stop working for you, but you don't really know why. And so now you're in this phase. You know why things aren't working for you. And so now it's a little demoralizing. And then eventually you figure out why it's optimistic and you start to head in a better direction. And so let's go through these 4 phases real quick. When you're going to start a new skill set, and if you've been trading for a while and have not seen success, try to reset. Try to just forget all that. I know we want to keep all the stuff that we've learned, and we really want to hold on to the beliefs, habits that we've built over the past year. But if you want to reach success and you've been struggling, just start from scratch. And a lot of people don't want to do that because the ego does not want to let go of itself. You've been building a self-identity around these habits and around your understanding of markets. And you don't want to let that go, but sometimes it's necessary to have a fresh start. So when you're first trading, or even if you guys are doing a fresh start, let's say when you first learn how to trade NAS100, there's uninformed optimism, right? So you're just like, dude, I'm going to hit $1 million. I'm going to flip this thing from 1,000 to 1,000,000. You don't know if it's possible or not. You don't really know the statistics. You don't know your habits. You're just, you just have this internal self-belief and you're excited. I'm going to make $1 million. Okay, awesome. But it's uninformed because you don't really know what it takes to get there and you're not really prepared for the challenges yet. Then there's uninformed pessimism, When you find out that, damn, it's a lot harder to make $1 million. I've been stuck at this $1,000 account trying to take it to 3,000 for a while now. And you don't know why it's not working, and you're just getting frustrated. And because you don't know what you need to fix, it's uninformed. And then now you're pessimistic about your ability to make money. You're like, man, this game is not all it was cut out to be. Maybe I was being sold a false dream. Then, ideally, if you get around some solid people, like for the personal coaching program that we do, we're trying to pinpoint exactly what's getting in a trader's way. You become an informed participant. I'm holding myself back because I don't have money and I keep trying to fund my last X amount of dollars into a funded account. And because I'm broke, I'm forcing trades on the funded account and I'm blowing it. You're no longer uninformed, like, bro, why can't I make this funded account work? Everybody else is getting paid except for me. Now you know exactly what you got to do. You attend the NAS100 masterclass, for example, and you realize that, okay, I make it look easy on YouTube, but you do have to have a trading plan. You do have to have your risk management strategy on point. Otherwise, you could blow the account. So now you know why you're losing. And even though it sucks to confront, especially when I'm dealing with coaching students, when we first get to pinpoint exactly what their issue is, it's never a comfortable conversation. It's always like, can you see now how whenever you're arguing with so-and-so and then you try to find an escape on the charts, it's leading to these bad habits? Or because of your expectation that you need to be right, and that if you don't let the, if this doesn't succeed, your family is going to see you as a failure. Can you see how this whole mental game is affecting your trading? So now you're like, okay, maybe I'm not going to be a profitable trader because I don't know if I can get through that problem. Okay, so that's the informed pessimism. And then you get to the point, if you stick this out long enough, you get to the informed optimism. Okay, there's a difference when you hear a beginner trader say, I'm so excited to trade next week. And then when you hear a more experienced trader say, I'm very excited to trade next week. When you're uninformed optimism, it's like, yeah, fresh opportunity to make money. It's kind of a gambler's mindset. Like, next week, I'm going to crush it. I don't know how, but I'm going to crush it. Informed optimism is, damn, I just attended the masterclass for NASDAQ, and I know exactly how this market moves. And I know that as long as I follow these 3 basic principles and I figure out what part of the market cycle or what phase the market is currently in, I can make money. And as long as I'm patient and have good risk management, I'm going to make money. That's informed optimism. Okay, so in business, this would relate to, you start a new, let's say that you want to start, I don't know, give me a business idea. Fucking, you want to start a lemonade stand. Okay, we're going to sell 1,000 cups a day. You don't know how many people walk through that area. You don't know the traffic, nothing. 1,000 cups. First 2 months, nobody shows up. You're like, man, maybe nobody wants this. Maybe this sucks. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe this isn't what I should be doing. Then informed pessimism. Oh, bro, we literally put our lemonade stand at the worst place. We're right next to 7-Eleven. They're just going to go inside and get a better drink. We got to go to where it's hot. We got to go to where there's no drinks in sight, and people are going to want these things outside of a stadium, outside of a thing. So informed pessimism. Then there's informed optimism. Okay, now that you know the location you should set up and you know what you should be doing, you're like, yo, next week we're going to crush it, because you know that you're going to position yourself in a better place, and that's what was holding you back. Put a 1 in the chat if this makes sense to everybody. My first one, good morning. Good morning, Zakar. How are you? When you look at Forex news and see all the red and yellow folders, how do you trade with those folders? Any recommendations on broker? No. Coming from currency pairs like GJ and such, but now I'm interested in NAS100. Any tips to apply or to imply? I'll be completely honest. Get informed as soon as possible. That's all I can say. We don't, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not out here trying to pitch the webinar because it's like something. The sooner that you have the necessary information to make a coherent plan, not like, okay, yeah, I got just enough that I'm going to go make money. Everybody who graduates the NAS100 program and is too excited, they end up having 3 weeks of success and then they blow the account. Because you're going to become too cocky. You're not going to have the necessary tools in place. So what I would say is become as informed as you can. There's 3 factors to all trading success, whether you're trading currency pairs, whether you're trading indices, commodities, or anything in the future. There's what we call the 3 M's. There's the market, there's your mind, and then there's money management. Here's the 3 M's. So first, you have to understand the market itself. You have to learn how NAS100 moves. You have to understand fundamentally what pushes it, what kind of sentiment is the most correlated with market action, what times and sessions does NASDAQ move the most, how often does the market cycle shift? Is it 1 month? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Currency pairs, because they're more stable, they're traded by central banks and they have a long-term objective with their investment strategies. They typically don't cycle in a 1 month or 3 month basis. You might see currency pairs cycle in a 6 month or 12-month basis. Now, indices are high volatility, which means there's constant changes in the sentiment around them. And so you'll typically see market cycles change in shorter time spans, which I'm not going to, you guys almost got me to say it for free on this webinar, but I'm not going to do it because that's proprietary information that we leave in the NAS100 class. So first, learn the market. Number two, understand the necessary mindset, the necessary, I don't want to say mindset, because that's just one frame of thinking. Like, oh, I'm very dedicated. I mean, it's a dedicated mindset. But then you might just be doing the wrong thing in a very dedicated way. Mind is more about clarity, and it's more about introspection. Intra meaning inside of you, inspection meaning to inspect. So you have to look inside of yourself. You have to be introspective enough to understand what things may be holding you back and what things are actually your strengths. In trading, whenever I'm coaching a student, it's like this boggles my mind because they'll always say something that they're doing correctly. And then they'll just tell me, like, yeah, I know I got to stop doing that. It's probably not the right thing. Like, I just, it's probably stupid. I'm like, dude, you're fine. Like all the things that are actually working for you, you seem to have either an uncertain perspective on, or you just seem to think that they're bad. And so identifying what are the right actions and what aren't the right actions, what mindset things, what parts of your emotionality or your behavioral responses are holding you back, but also having the clarity to identify what things are you're actually doing right. That's part of being an adult, is that maturity, is that clarity. You can't just be like, oh, I suck. But look at yourself honestly. Look in the mirror. Now, if you do suck, admit it. Informed pessimism. Okay, I suck right now because of these things. But then you're going to fix them and then get to the informed optimism. When you look in the mirror and your life is not the way that you want it to be, and you're not doing the things that you said you should. Okay? If you're just like telling yourself you're going to wake up early, you don't do it. Telling yourself you're going to do these things, you don't do it. Telling yourself you're going to make changes, you don't do it. But you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I got this, I got this, I got this. That's uninformed optimism. Because then you're going to go out there and realize you don't got this and think that the world is out to get you. And then you realize, oh, it's not the world that's out to get me. Informed pessimism. It's because I don't have this necessary skills. I don't have the necessary understanding of myself and how I react to high stress situations. And that's why I'm not where I want to be. I don't have clear goals, right? I don't have a big enough reason for why I'm doing what I'm doing. Then you're like, well, I'm going to fix those things. I'm going to find a big enough reason. I'm going to build a plan to do those things every day that are going to get me to success. Then you get to a point where you're like, man, I can't wait for next week. That's the informed optimism. When you look yourself in the mirror and say, I do got this, and I will succeed at whatever I put my mind to. No longer uninformed, but informed. And so that's part of the mindset, is really understanding yourself, because without proper mindset, without proper self-understanding, you'll never, ever make money in the markets. The market will win 130% of the time. If you refuse to really, really do the mindset work, which is learning about yourself and how you react to high stress situations and how to build behavioral tools to make yourself more effective. If you do not do that, then you will never make money in trading. You'll make just enough to not quit. You'll make just enough to be like, oh, maybe I got it down now. Or maybe it's, and it's sort of like the casino gambler who's like, okay, I'm fed up with this thing. Okay. And then you just win luckily on one hand and you're like, my luck's turning around. You can't do that. When you have your mindset under control, you know that you're going to walk away. You know that to close the screen when you've already hit your maximum targets or your maximum losses. And then last but not least is money management. You can have the best mindset. I'm rock solid. The market will not affect me. I have no obligations and no attachments. I'm connected to everything but attached to nothing. And now you're just floating 3 feet above the air. You got your mindset right. You're Gandhi. You've understood the markets the same way that I do, which is about as clearly as you possibly can, about as clear of an understanding of market movement that could possibly happen. Now you get so cocky That money management goes out the window. And you don't care about losing big. And you don't care about winning big. But because you're so rock solid and you're so confident, you're not looking at the math behind the account. And you're not realizing that if you're risking 10%, you're 10 trades away from losing the account. If you're risking 5%, you're 20 trades away from losing the account. You're not doing that math. You're just sort of got the next trade because you're in the opportunity flow. Without all three of these, there is no success in trading. Put a one in the chat if that makes sense. And drop a like if you guys learned something on this webinar. What's the point of this? If you don't give the sauce. Well, do you guys think I'm giving out any sauce, or do you guys think I'm wasting your time? Because if I'm wasting your time, I'll just go enjoy my Saturday. You let me know. And obviously everybody else is probably learning something, and there's one, there's probably just one person, but you guys learning something? Are we good? Well, it seems like a pretty dry Saturday. All right, y'all. Well, we're not going to go too deep into this. This is just about enough information that you need to get onto the next level of your trading success. Figure out what part of the journey that you're on. Okay, when you first start, you're just excited for no reason. Everybody else is making money. I'm going to crush it. $1 million days loading. Then you have uninformed pessimism, which is, I don't even know why I'm losing. I'm just losing because I'm a loser. I just saw everything sucks. The world is out to get me. Brokers, manipulation, all of it. Uninformed. You don't know why, but you just have this feeling it's not going to work for you. Then you get to the point where to get from step 2 to step 3, this is why we offer coaching. Because the longer that you spend in uninformed pessimism, you're either going to be one of these traders that comes to us after 3-4 years of making the same mistakes, in which case I would prefer you guys don't get to that point, because then there's a lot of habits we have to unwind. And it's uncomfortable to realize that, how do I explain this? If you spent 5 years building bad habits, it's going to take me 1 year to unbuild those habits. Genuinely. Now we can do it in 100 days and we'll start to get on the right track, but I've seen people lapse. You do it for a year and you can actually completely disregard all the old habits that you built that were negative. But that's a long fucking time. The longer you spend in the uninformed pessimism phase, the longer you stay on the hamster wheel. When we offer coaching, it's to try to get you informed as to what is getting in your way and what's holding you back. Because every person's trading is indicative of their personal mental environment, of their personal experience, of their personality, their risk tolerance. This is a unique journey. When I teach the masterclass, is because I'm targeting the market right here and money management. I'm hitting both of those about as good as it can get. But everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a different reaction to opportunity. Everyone's going to have a different reaction to choice. Should I close it or should I hold it? For some people, it's an easy choice. For others, depending on your life circumstance, it might be a hard choice for us. And so the more informed you are as to what you need to do to make progress, or what you have to stop doing, which is most important, what you got to stop doing to start, to stop hurting your account, that's where you can move on to the next step. When we first do the discovery call, there's a little bit of informed pessimism now. The first half of the call is, look, based on the discovery period that we've had, based on all the things that you've submitted, and based on our previous conversations, it really looks like you're a degenerate gambler. You're a fucking degen, all right? And until you fix that, I don't think things are going to turn around for you. And then you see the face just completely sink. Just, God, no. I thought I was going to be one of the best of the best. I never thought that this could happen to me, right? I really wanted to make this work. Roy, please don't tell me this is true, because I've wasted 2 years of my life and thousands of dollars trying to make this work. Don't tell me I'm a degenerate gambler. I told him, no, you're 100% a degen. Fucking take this money to Atlantic City. It'll be a lot more fun than losing it to NASDAQ. Trust me. I appreciate the liquidity. Thank you for the transfer of funds in the market from the hands of the uninformed to the hands of the informed. However, I have some good news for you. Trader at home who has not seen success yet and who thinks that this is the end of the road. And the second half of the conversation is trying to get them to understand, here's the 3 things you can do. And then if we do these things, you're going to see the progress. If we do these 3 things, like improving the trading plan, improving your strategy, looking at your performance, and then obviously before all of that is looking at your life as a whole and seeing what factors are playing the biggest role in your trading mistakes. Is it the lack of capital? which is leading to the over leveraging and some of the over trading? Is it expectations? Well, I've seen this person make it in 6 months, or I've seen so and so who's 10 years younger than me make it, and so I have to make it. And then there are just sort of these I don't know, then there's these like human flaws, which is whenever you're sitting down and you just randomly just like spaz out and you fucking spill a cup over and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, that was a random thing. You just went to go pick something up and your hand just like jerked and you just knocked something over. We're humans. We're clumsy. Some shit just happens. We just spaz out every once in a while. And then we, unfortunately, that might lead to damage in the account. And so we look at the factors that have been holding them back based on previous results, previous history, and we say, look, it's only these 3 things. And if we can find you a framework to combat these 3 things so that you don't keep fucking it up, you're going to be successful. And then they are now informed and they're optimistic. The informed optimism, not because they have this self-identity or self-belief that they think is going to make them successful, but instead they know exactly what they need to do to be successful. Not because of a course, but because they know why they've been getting in their own way. At some point in the next 2 months or 3 months, those 4 problems that we identify will come up and they will either blow the account or you'll have the information necessary to fight them in that moment. And so if you're not informed, you're either deluded, you're delusional, or you're pessimistic. Okay? So it's important to be informed and then to know that it's possible to make change. That's where the optimism comes from. It's possible to identify what you need to do or why you've been holding yourself back. And it's possible to achieve the goals that you want as long as, right? It's possible to achieve the goals you want. Pause. As long as, this is the part that nobody wants to talk about. As long as you're willing to do these things, like build a clear enough goal as to what you're looking for, have the honesty, right? Have the honesty to know why you've been holding yourself back or which areas you have weakness in. And if you can't do that introspection yourself, this is why there's resources like Chart Addicts to come and help you along that journey. This does not have to be something that you go through alone, because we have a hard time self-diagnosing. Because the way that our brain works is that there's a construct to protect ourselves from pessimism, or to protect ourselves from just self-destruction. And so you'll always be like, but yeah, I did this thing that was really stupid. But so when we first make a mistake, there's this like, damn, we're kind of beating ourselves up. And then the longer that we have distance from that, we start to build a rationale for why we made that mistake. And because of our ability to rationalize fucking anything, right? Literally anything, it's really hard to do that self-reflection. Because then you'll tell yourself, well, the real reason I'm losing is because I was just busy that week. No. Like, you knew you were busy. You knew that hurts your account and you decided to trade anyways. It's not because you were busy. It's because you couldn't even stay away. This is a deeper problem. And so usually self-diagnosing, not the most effective, but when you have a third person that genuinely understands trading because they're a trader, it takes a completely different light. 100%. This is the 3rd time I'm attending the NAS intro, and it's always something new. Roy the GOAT, teach to level up. Jonathan Rodriguez, always good to have you on, brother. Okay, what do I consider in order to shift from currencies to NAS and US 30? Those 3 things. How do I get mentorship? The links that are in the comments section. Happy backtesting Saturday, Carlos. All right, y'all. If you learned something today, or if you guys at least took something away, drop a 1 in the chat. But all the YouTube shit aside, look, let's have a real conversation for a second. A lot of us had goals, right? You built goals years ago, and you knew that this is what you wanted out of your life. At some point in the journey, things may or may not have gotten hard for you. And maybe you're like, okay, maybe that goal is not possible. Let me start to downsize my goals instead. And you've started to settle for things in your life. This is a wake-up call that you do not have to settle. It will take you longer to get that thing that you really want. Okay, maybe you want a specific car, and then you're like, it's going to take me an extra couple months to do that. It's going to take me an extra bit of sacrifice to do that. Maybe I should just let go of the goal. Don't do that. This is your reminder that you wanted these things for a reason. And maybe a car is a superficial example. We all want things for our family. We want security. We want to live a life where we're not only surviving, but we're thriving. Do not give up on that ideal because of the temporary inconveniences or pain that you might be going through. Life is not going to give you what you want right away. And shit is hard out here. But if you have the clarity of the goal, it will happen. If you're unclear about the goal, you'll constantly be heading in different directions. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So figure out where that destination is and start building that straight line. But whatever you do, the goals you had for yourself, for your family, for identity, for your future, for freedom, do not give those up. I don't give a fuck how long it takes. It will take longer than you want it to take. Because if it was achievable just by simply thinking it or just by simply doing a couple things, everybody would have it. This is about being so clear about what you want that day in and day out, you're going to do all the necessary things that you will need to do to get there. And success does not care about your mood. A lot of people say you have to be in a great mindset to attract and this and that. To some degree, yes, right? Because you're always going to have 10x the results when you do something with optimism versus dragging your feet. But truth be told, if your job was to go out there and collect cans from the ground and that's how you got paid, whether you're happy, sad, depressed, fast, slow, as long as you collect cans every day, you go pick up, put in bag, it doesn't matter your mood, you're going to reach the success that you want. Now, clearly, that's a very simplistic example, but there are mechanical things that we can all do to get better at our skills, at our, trading is a high income skill. So there's things that we can do at all times to work on ourselves, like reading a psychology book or doing some meditation or going out there and exercising. All of these have a direct impact on your trading. There's always something we can do to move forward. So whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood, if you had a dream for your life and you've started to give up on that dream because life got hard, this is your reminder not to give up on the dream, but to give up all the other shit that you picked up along the way that are slowing you down. Give up those bad habits, give up those other ideals that you've started to create, give up that sort of pessimistic and victimization mindset and pick back up the dream that you had. Because everybody else when I look around today, nobody seems to be following that original dream. Nobody seems to have that same vision for their life that they did a few years ago or that they did when they first started the journey. And I understand that it's hard. You don't have that same light in your eyes when you're 4 or 5 years in. But you can, as long as you remind yourself why you're doing this. Nobody burns out. People just lose sight of their purpose. Okay? So after this call, figure out exactly what the fuck you want from your life. Do not go on to the next video, to the next thing, to video games, to your family, until you figure out exactly what do you want. And then once you figure that out, ask yourself, what can you do every day to get closer? Because it's not going to happen overnight, but what are a few things you can do to head in that direction? Because it will happen. If you guys are interested in trading NAS100, I teach my strategy we've had 2 series of the masterclass series where I've taught my entire strategy from start to finish. My goal is to pass this strategy on to the next generation because I don't know how long I will be teaching at this point. In 2024, we have a ton of responsibilities with the FX Summit, along with a bunch of other things. So I don't know if I'll be doing any master classes. This will be the last and final edition of the NAS100 Masterclass, December 3rd through the 6th. I want to pass my strategy on to the next generation while I focus on my own trading. I focus on starting a fund and starting some of the more important ventures. So do not miss out on this. From start to finish, you will understand how I trade NAS, how I look at NAS100, as well as the fundamentals, technicals, mindset, and risk strategies involved to adjust to whatever market cycles this throws at us. All right, link is in the description. Great to see all of you. Price is going up next week. Drop a like if you learned something. If not, I'm going to catch you guys later. Take it easy. Peace. Zachary Sanders, the answer is yes. Go on our channel or go on our website and just look up Chart Addicts Student Spotlight. You'll see a few. We haven't posted in a while, but they're all coming up. I actually have a few scheduled on Monday and Tuesday for this most recent round. But yeah, trust me that you can just listen to some of those videos and you'll find it. All right, y'all. Peace. All right.